So Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget was an alright sequel, and a movie that really did not need to be made. Nobody asked for it, and the fact that it wasn't a clear movie to make a sequel from, because Chicken Run ended in a good way, and it weren't a great film anyways. It was an alright film, so you've just made a sequel to an alright film and expecting it to be mega. It was absolutely average. That's the best way of describing it. So what was the point in the sequel? Who the fuck knows? This was like Fred doing a sequel, let's be honest.
Please don't bite my neck!
Ew! I'm not gonna bite you!
Well, I suppose Fred did have 2 sequels, so that means now Chicken Run gets about 10, is that right? Because both of them are just fucking average and shit. In all seriousness, this movie weren't that bad, and I've seen worse. However, it was just so basic and unnecessary, which sums Netflix up to a T. And yeah, I get that people might have wanted to see how Ginger and Rocky's story continued. However, one, they didn't even bring back all the original casting, so it was sort of like, oh, you're screwed from the start. Even though it didn't make a massive difference, I think just having that name quality that Mel Gibson's in the film just brings a bit of X factor to the film, in all fairness. But that he weren't in the film, he didn't take on that role again. And so that was always going to go against this film. And also the fact that the actual Ginger and Rocky story felt like it finished at the end of Chicken Run. The whole film felt like it wrapped up at the end of the film. They'd escaped. What more do you need to know? It's sort of like, it's not fucking Prison Break where we need to see them on the run doing this or whatever. And they'd moved to a remote island. They'd been there for about 10 years. They've settled down away from the public. They've created, Ginger and Rocky have created a family. They've got a kid. 10 years later, that kid now wants to explore the rest of the world and feels that she hasn't got that freedom. But then Ginger's trying to teach her that the freedom that she has now is the freest she'll ever be, because if she goes over to that island, she's going to get slaughtered and turned into chicken nuggets. And it's one of those, isn't it? Where it's, okay, I get the idea of the film, but it's just so basic and predictable like we thought it would be. So in a way, do we need to see another sequel of the same thing, of humans wanting to kill chickens? No, not really. I don't think it was needed, let's be honest. However, I do get that the idea of that in this film, they're not escaping a chicken farm. They're trying to get into one because Molly gets stuck in one because she ends up getting taken in, and her new friend that she just met like 2 minutes ago, and they both get dragged into this chicken factory, and it looks happy, it looks jolly, whatever, and it's just so that they make them taste nicer or some shit, I don't know. But either way, that's what the film presents, and it's just a little bit like, it's predictable. You know that the fight is still in Ginger and Rocky to try to save their daughter, and they're going to take down the chicken farm and come back, and that is exactly what happens. The biggest thing about this movie was probably the villain of Miss Tweedy coming back, but nobody asked for Miss Tweedy to come back, and she practically died at the end of the last film, let's be honest. Yeah, that makes sense. She shouldn't have returned, and neither should have this franchise, let's be honest. It should have just left it where it were, unless they thought chicken pie was pretty boring in the last one. Oh, great idea, let's turn them into chicken nuggets, more exciting. Then the other movie is also just basic and boring, which just sums up the entire film. As these chickens are going to this dramatic ending of looking like they're about to be fried in oil, before here comes Ginger, Molly, and the rest of the groovy gang to help save those chickens from near death. And it weren't a bad idea. It was just, it was just predictable. You knew it was going to happen. It weren't going to show chickens being absolutely cooked either when they're meant to be the protagonists. This ain't a horror film, let's be honest. So obviously they were going to be saved, and it was obviously Miss Tweedy was going to get pushed and brushed aside and be dealt with. Even though they tried to make it dramatic as possible, you know the outcome by now, that the villain's going to get easily overturned, and that's what happened at the ending. And yeah, it weren't that great in all fairness, just bang average. We knew that the chickens were then going to go back to the remote farm and then enjoy the freedom. Before we jump back into this video, guys, please do us a massive favour and smash that subscribe button, because you do not want to miss a thing this week, next week, and the week after, because we've got tons and tons of content planned for you guys, and you can do us a massive favour by smashing that subscribe button, joining the community, getting updates to all the latest videos, from the YouTube shorts to the actual videos. It is well worth it, completely free, and you will not regret it. So to summarise this movie then, for me, it weren't all bad, but it weren't needed neither, so it's a 6.2 out of 10 and an average film. Let us know down in the comments down below. Do you agree with our rating? Do you think it's good film, bad film, terrible film? Let us know all that jazz down in the comments down below. And if you haven't seen our review on the first installment in the Chicken Run franchise, check that out right now.